So before I kick this one off, I wanted to address something that people seem to be shockingly unaware of. For a good while now, every month I do a week where I only make shorts as a kind of rest from my normal schedule. I think YouTube just really doesn't tell people about that, so I constantly get messages where people go, "I wish you'd bring back the Roast-A-Mans," or "Why didn't you make any videos this week?" And the answer is, they never left, and I did. If you go to the Shorts tab on my channel, you will probably find like 50 or more new Roast-A-Mans that you've never seen if you didn't check that before, as well as a few different kinds of shorts. Also, this last week, I did one extra video that could have been a short, but I wanted to give you all the full screen on it, and it did horribly. Probably because the song in it got claimed. It's only a minute long, so if you're interested, it's called Peerless Prime, and it should be the last regular video, not a short, just before this one. Also, huge thanks to the usual suspects keeping me informed on all the things going on in the Transformers. And big thanks to first-time helper Yellow Bot Correct. And without further ado, let's look at the upcoming figures. But first, your likes! Please give. And if you enjoy this video by the end and you aren't subscribed already, please consider it. Let's start with the Bumblebee movie Shockwave, since I know that apparently reviews of this thing are already out. I really like what I'm seeing here, but I do hear that there's no bicep swivel, though I've not seen reviews to confirm that. If that is the case, then it's just fucking stupid, because it costs nothing to do one of those. I appreciate the fact that they seem to have made Shockwave's head a little smaller here, since in the movie it was hideously wide. I swear it was like 3/4 the width of his entire torso. However, I still absolutely hate the gun. Why is it like this, where it's the biggest gun in the universe, but it has the smallest barrel? Sure, the original Shockwave had a skinny little punch dildo, but that was at the end of a regular arm. This looks like it's supposed to be a cannon, but then it necks down into a pea shooter. What with the hose, I'm half convinced that this isn't a gun. Shockwave just strapped a pressure washer to his arm. Alt Mode looks like a gimpier version of the Prime one, so if you're looking for a new toy of the hyper-logical character from that show, maybe you can pretend that this is it. I kind of like this, though the way the feet pivot down looks unfinished. Also, he has an Autobot badge on his arm. Is that a mistake? Were they going for some animated spy shit in the movie, or did they come up with some personal lore that they never told anyone during or after the film, where Shockwave is like the opposite of Skyfire, a guy who switched sides from good to evil? Next up, we have a quick shot of what appears to be a prototype for the movie masterpiece Brawl/Devastator in Tool Room colors. I mean, good for movie fans, I hope it's a great toy. But can we all just agree that it was always super dumb that this guy was called Devastator in the film, and then in the very next movie, they had a different dude named Devastator who was also wrong show up? Like, why not just make up a new guy if you were going to have him there without his team and then die immediately? Then, thanks to the box art for Legacy Tidal Wave, we do have confirmation that they are at least thinking about doing a Legacy Galvatron. I mean, it was already all but confirmed by the simple fact that Megatron exists and that Galvatron in that show was always a cheap repaint. I guess some people are more fond of these colors than the normal ones, though I can't say that I know why. Personally, I've always thought these were a massive downgrade. The only interesting thing I have to say about this is that while they highlighted 3 of the parts getting added to him for this super mode, they either forgot to do the feat, or Galvatron himself is coming with its own additional accessories to give him some moon shoes. Then finally, after the most unreasonable amount of waiting since all the way back in Kingdom, at long last we have pictures of Legacy Gears. He wound up in the 3rd year of the United toy line, so that's frustrating, but it was worth the wait because this looks pretty good. I absolutely love how they have him in his box, making him look like a giant idiot with the hood folded up over his stupid orange slice head. I wonder, in the original design, was that just supposed to be like part of his head, or was that supposed to be like part of the engine too? There is a good amount to like here, and a good amount to tilt your noggin at. Like, one, he looks like a giant dork, so that's perfect. He deserves no better. But I can't profess to liking his legs with their two tones and frankly bizarre shape. I feel like I'm looking at him through a pair of 3D glasses. And while I'm pretty sure that he's going to have maximum elbows, everything about the body looks strangely structural, like the scaffolding of a Cybertronian. Also, gotta love the alt mode. Something about the plastic here just makes him look so very toy. This is the most G1 alt mode any figure in the last 20 years has had, because it doesn't look like a truck, it looks like a toy made for babies of a truck, in classic Minibot fashion. I almost wonder if this was a Legends figure that they scaled up, which is hilarious because the design of the truck screams that it's supposed to be absolutely massive. Honestly, this looks literally nothing like his show alt mode. That thing was kind of a buggy almost, and it was definitely a 2-seater. This is more of a modern small penis, massive truck kind of thing. But it's also clown car sized. I'm also pretty sure I can tell exactly how the transformation is going to go based on this picture. Arms fold out of here, tires fold into the front, and that all hinges down to become the backpack. This part unhinges and then swings up, with the tires folding the opposite way, and then you bend the legs down and that'll be about it. Let's see if I called that in hopefully not too long. Gotta love the classic Hasbro shit photography though. Fans Toys has to send you their figures mistransformed, and Hasbro has to take pictures of their figures mistransformed. How did you not notice that one of the wheels was falling in? Hell, you idiots, even if you couldn't be bothered to take a second picture of that mode, I can fix that in 10 seconds in Photoshop. This just simply has got to be intentional at this point. Also, the chest can open up, so you can do that one thing from his one episode. Honestly, considering that this figure is probably going to be tiny, it's just nice that they bothered with the extra step of value. Lastly, for the figures we have actual pictures of, Bumblebee movie Sunstreaker, and I actually kinda love what I'm seeing. Sure, the yellow that they used is an ugly and cheap-looking shade, but I was expecting this to be a simple retool of Wheeljack, but no. So far outside the Seekers and the Van Bros, who are all supposed to be redecos anyways, none of these figures have been retools of each other. Gotta hand it to them for trying at least. Head's not the best, makes me think more of Ocean Master than it does Sunstreaker, but I love how they incorporated the tires into the elbows, though it does make me doubt that there will be a bicep swivel, and there's clearly no wrist swivel, so rip articulation. Hopefully the transformation can balance some of that out, and then once again, I love the alt mode. Maybe I'm a mark for alt modes that are more cyberpunk than they are alien, but this, with its inset wheels, the cockpit-like windshield, and the swooped exterior, I just find to be really cool. I'm also liking the paint job for the lights and bumper, though I do think that the orange would be better served as red. Someone mentioned to me that this reminds them of a RID 2015 alt mode, and yeah, I can see that, though it honestly doesn't bother me so much, because the problem with that show was just that it was a painfully unfunny comedy. Not that the alt modes weren't cool. This thing's even doing a good job hiding the peg tires. I'm optimistic about how this will turn out. At the very least, I have high hopes for a good transformation out of it. And before I launch into this next part about the leaked listings, I want to point out that in the previous video where I did this, people were telling me that the listings were a troll and I had been tricked. But who's laughing now, considering that the Bumblebee movie Sunstreaker was in those listings, along with the core class Beast Wars Dinobot that we're about to talk about? Well, not fucking me, because according to JT Prime 17, the king of leakers, that Dinobot got fucking cancelled. Riot! Riot! Commit crimes! Commit them in his name! This is bullshit and I am desperately sad. I mean, Sure Shot, Movie Drift, and Reactivate Lifeline all also got cancelled, but who gives a shit about them when Dinobot got the axe? Anyways, on to things that we'll actually be getting. Fucking bullshit. A bunch of GoBots recolors of existing figures, so a Kingdom Warpath recolor, hilariously an early Gears redeco, and probably most importantly for a lot of people, a Cosmos repaint. However, for me, this is just a disappointment because, damn it, I just learned looking this up that the original GoBots design for this was so much cooler. I want a toy of this now. Then we have the absolutely genius move that was not putting a blast effect port on the 86 Brawn, so that way they could do it here and sell it to us again, with a dead Brawn and Ratchet. Hopefully the Ratchet has a different chest explosion battle damage piece than the Ironhide did, who honestly should have looked like this considering what happened to him in the 86 movie. There's apparently going to be a really shitty reuse of the now quite overdone Laser Optimus Prime mold, with a Ravage Minicon redeco into Target's corporate colors, with the Earthrise trailer. My god, that sounds lame. It looks like the retro Optimus Prime will be a Walmart exclusive, but is that just a retro paint job, or is it that weird kind of cool retro figure? I only ask because after that, it says that we're getting a retro bombshell that's coming with a ram horn. Why would you do that? But yeah, because of that, now I'm unsure of what retro even means. They're apparently doing a Road Pig retool of Crash Bar for the Star Seekers, then they're doing a Bludgeon and Ruckus 2-pack. The Bludgeon is probably just going to be the Bludgeon they just released, but as for Ruckus, it's a deluxe, so maybe it will be a Beachcomber retool? Hopefully not though, that thing was just a scaled up Legends figure and not a true deluxe. Sadly, according to JT Prime 17, Leader Soundwave is just a repaint of the Earthrise Soundwave. Though how the fuck are they going to justify charging a Leader price for that crappy thing? I was never into that figure, but at this point I've completely turned on it. That thing fucking sucks. It's a bad, half-hearted retool of a figure that had no business trying to be a normal Soundwave, with completely inappropriate sculpting that they didn't bother to tool away out of laziness. Fuck that thing and fuck this news. Though I thought that Leader Soundwave was supposed to be an 86 figure. Lastly, take this information with a grain of salt because I'm not quite sure where it comes from, but they appear to be someone who saw a bunch of toys in person at a convention. They're doing an 86 Springer, apparently it's noticeably larger than the Siege, Sandstorm is going to be even bigger than Springer, and it's going to have the cartoon head, as opposed to the toy one. Cybertron Vector Prime is going to be a Legacy G-Axis retool, and it's probably going to have the Legwing still. Cybertron Starscream sounds like a new mold, and it has flip-out weapons, though right now it has 2 swords rather than the 1 sword and the 1 gun. Though that may change. We have no idea how far along these figures this guy saw were. They very easily could have been prototypes, or he could have just been making stuff up. And Cybertron Hotshot is apparently very faithful, bordering on just a smaller version of its older figure. Though I think he had 2 forms in the show, so it's not clear which one they're talking about. If I had to guess, it's going to be the one that's not the version they already did in Generation Selects, since that might eat into their potential profits. Anyways, I think that there was a bit more news recently, but honestly it was such a sudden deluge of different things from different sources, I kind of lost track. So next week I might need to do another one of these, we'll see. But for now, that's not half of what I have to say, but it is enough of what I have to say. And I know, you know, what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time.